It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast for this, the 29th day of August, 2023, coming to you from the Westmark Hotel in Anchorage, Alaska. A couple of quick announcements, folks. First, tomorrow, the show will not be live. I will be about this time on the train going from Anchorage back up to Whittier to get on the Sapphire Princess. I will put a show together and pre-record it, and it will be available at 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow. So that's my plans for tomorrow. The other thing, the one little blip on the radar, some of you may be aware that the hotel had my reservation for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and it was supposed to be Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So that tonight they were full. So I wasn't entirely sure that I would be staying in the same hotel tonight. However, it did get ironed out during the night last night, and I will be staying here. However, I've got to go downstairs as soon as the show's over with and make sure that they know it here. So anyway, it's yesterday I did get out some, but nowhere near what I wanted to do in Anchorage, because it was a cold, wet rain all day. And I got soaked and cold all the way through twice yesterday. So I did not get as much done as I'd hoped to do. So we'll see how the weather is today. At least right now, it's not raining. So that's a good thing. All right, we've got quite a few stories to cover this morning as far as the news goes. Of course, we got two hurricanes in the Atlantic, and some of you might remember, folks, it's only happened twice before in our history where there are two active hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin. It was in don't quote me on the years, but like in 1959 and in 1933 or something like that. It doesn't happen very often. Well, we got two hurricanes, and of course, one of them is bearing down on Florida, so we'll talk about that. And kind of a follow-up to yesterday's story, Britannia sends some passengers home. Carnival's new destination. A Virgin Voyages passenger got busted for child porn. Fred Olsen, don't get to talk about that much on this show. They celebrated 20 years in Liverpool. Barcelona to ban ships from the northern docks. And lots more at 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time here on the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. Anytime that you're listening via your podcast and want to hop over to the video feed, there's always a link in the description of the podcast so you can do just that in case you want to check out pictures or clips that I'm using on that day's show, interviews. You can go over to the feed. All right, we followed the travails of Kenneth and Robin a little bit, and the there. So, I mean, this it looks like, I'm not entirely sure. Five funk is funk, but again, it's not showing the picture. There we go. That's Huatulco in Mexico. That's not a real well-known port as far as like Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta, but I got to roll around a good bit of Huatulco when I was there, and it's a lovely, lovely little town. That, of course, is the Emerald Princess that Kenneth and Robin are on. Of course, I'll be getting on the sister ship to the Emerald, the Sapphire Princess, tomorrow. And then they had Kenneth's favorite meal, mine too. Love the prime rib. And also, prime rib is done well by Princess. So it's always, prime rib is always good. So, and this I just thought was lovely. This is actually a fruit plate. Isn't that gorgeous? Well done by Princess for a fruit plate. And then, of course, while they were in Huatulco, I don't know if this is related or not, but that was about the same time that then Tropical Storm Idalia was coming across the Western Caribbean, heading as it's heading now for Florida. That's, of course, the light and some lightning off in the distance. That's, it's always fascinating to see the storms at sea. So, all right, we got to get to the weather here. First thing this morning, folks. It's going to be nasty. All right, this, of course, is the Atlantic. As I mentioned earlier, we've got two hurricanes going at the same time. Franklin remains a formidable Category 4 hurricane, life-threatening surf and rip currents ongoing along the southeastern United States coastline and expected to spread up the eastern seaboard. It's currently located about 385 miles west-southwest of Bermuda. Maximum sustained winds are 140. Present movement is to the north-northeast at 9. Look at this number, folks. Minimum central pressure, 935. This is probably not going to severely affect any land, thank goodness. But a north-northeastward to northeastward motion with a faster forward speed is expected during today and tomorrow. The center of Franklin is expected to pass well to the northwest of Bermuda on Wednesday. And then the one that's going to affect you guys in Florida, and you need to pay particular attention to this, folks. Of course, we don't know the exact path yet. We don't know the exact strength yet. Well, you're probably looking at least a Category 3 at landfall. It did officially become a hurricane early last evening. It's expected to rapidly intensify into an extremely dangerous major hurricane before landfall tomorrow. Currently located about 75 miles north of the western tip of Cuba, about 375 miles south-southwest of Tampa. Currently, the winds are at 75, but it is in bathwater. It is an extraordinarily warm water, and it is going to intensify. It's moving north at 14 miles an hour. Pressure's down to 981, and it is going to drop a lot. Florida's southwestern coast can anticipate feeling the storm's effect starting this morning. Gusty winds are predicted across a significant portion of Florida, extending inland by tonight as the storm's outer bands sweep inland. Idalia is anticipated to make a landfall as a hurricane along Florida's Gulf Coast tomorrow morning. The storm's impact is expected to be widespread across Florida, with the most severe effects stretching from Tampa northward to the Big Bend region and parts of the Panhandle. Landfall is anticipated along the Gulf Coast, most likely from Longboat Key to Indian Pass, which includes Tampa Bay, and along with an 8 to 12 foot storm surge, then cross Florida and move close to the Carolina coastline on Thursday. Now, folks, an 8 to 12 foot storm surge, just look at it this way. A stop sign is normally at 9 feet. So the storm surge could be as much as like 3 feet over the top of a stop sign. That's a lot of water, folks. You guys in Florida are pros at this, but just don't ignore the storm because it's been coming at you quickly as opposed to knowing about it for weeks. All right, there's 2 other systems in the Atlantic as well. A tropical wave located just off the west coast of Africa is producing an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear marginally conducive for gradual development. Tropical depression could form later in the week. Now, this isn't what I call the trough. It's going to come right straight across. Could be something that we have to watch. Right now, they're saying further development is low over the next 48 hours, about 28%, but up to medium, which is 50% over the next 7 days. In the central subtropic Atlantic, showers and thunderstorms have recently become more concentrated with an area of low pressure located about 1,000 miles northeast of the northern Leeward Islands. Recent satellite wind data also indicate that its circulation has become better defined. Environmental conditions appear favorable for additional development over the next couple of days before becoming more unfavorable by the latter part of the week as the system drifts slowly over the central subtropic Atlantic. Over the next 48 hours, development about 30%, formation chance for the next 7 days, about 30%. Not as worried about this one as I am about the one over closer to Africa. All right, and we still got Irwin out there in the Pacific. It's now headed westward, currently about 1,130 miles west of the southern tip of Baja California. Maximum sustained winds are 40. It's moving west at 16. Central pressures up to 1,001 now. Slow weakening is likely, and Irwin could become a post-tropical as soon as today or tomorrow. All right, I'll be back with a lot more this morning, right after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. All right, folks, before we get to that, this is from our friends at Scoot Around. Where is it? All right, did you know that Scoot Around now has an official rental app? The app allows you to easily rent a scooter, wheelchair, or power chair using your smartphone. Rentals can be booked in more than 2,500 locations worldwide with delivery to your hotel residence or cruise ship. The Scoot Around app can be downloaded in both the App Store and Google Play Store. That is Scoot Around, and I'll be getting my scooter on Sapphire Princess tomorrow morning. Okay. On with the news portion of the show. Hurricane Idalia is prompting some major cruise lines to make adjustments to their plans, including itinerary changes. Experts predict that the storm could escalate at least to a Category 3, possibly a Category 4. Carnival and Disney Cruise Line are among those altering routes to avoid the impact of Idalia. Carnival Conquest passengers were notified of an itinerary change that involves skipping ports such as Key West and Cozumel. Disney Cruise Line has also made modifications for passengers aboard the Disney Fantasy. The ship will no longer visit Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and Falmouth. Instead, will travel to Tortola and St. Thomas. Grandeur of the Seas from Royal Caribbean will forego Costa Maya and make her way to Cozumel at a later time. Wonder of the Seas has canceled a stop in Roatan and will spend the day at sea. The visit to Cozumel has been rescheduled for Thursday. Celebrity Equinox swapped its Grand Cayman visit with Falmouth, Jamaica. Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady has rearranged its plans to visit Grand Turk on Tuesday, bypassing Costa Maya. MSC Cruises announced adjustments to the MSC Seaside itinerary due to safety concerns at the line's private island, Ocean Key. Instead, MSC Seaside will have an overnight visit in Nassau. It's likely that more ships will be affected in the next couple of days. The other thing worth pointing out is that Port Tampa Bay has temporarily suspended inbound vessel traffic. So it's going to take care of that. In a follow-up story to one of yesterday's stories, P&O Cruises has assessed the damage to the Britannia following the cruise ship collision with a tanker from Palma, Mallorca on Sunday. Because of lifeboat and other equipment damage, some guests will be disembarked and sent home rather than sailing on with the vessel. The cruise line is making travel arrangements for the impacted passengers at this time. Maritime law requires specific lifeboat capacities to be maintained on all vessels based on the overall guest and crew capacity of the ship. The Britannia carries 3,600 travelers with a crew of 1,400. I wonder how they're going to determine who stays and who goes. Who knows? Guests sailing with Carnival Cruise Line to the Bahamas will have a new reason to celebrate with the opening of what will be called Celebration Key, the first destination designed exclusively for Carnival. Located on Grand Bahama, the destination is already under construction and slated to welcome its first guest in July of 25. A U.S. Border Protection agent arrested a cruise passenger who sailed on the Scarlet Lady for possession of child pornography this week at Virgin Voyages terminal at the port of Miami. Michael Fanning, age 47, of Atlanta, was arrested when authorities reportedly discovered multiple videos depicting child pornography on his phone, according to multiple news sources. Fred Olsen Cruise Line celebrated 2 decades of sailing from Liverpool, England, by hosting a surprise event at the cruise Liverpool terminal. The occasion featured an impromptu performance by the enchanting Flash Mob Choir, a handbag of harmonies, in collaboration with Cruise Liverpool. The tribute honored the cruise line's 20 years of sailing from Liverpool. Barcelona, renowned for its enchanting Gothic quarter, idyllic beaches, and renowned Bucaria market, stands as Spain's most sought-after tourist destination. The year 2022 welcomed an impressive influx of 2.3 million cruise tourists to the city. Nonetheless, the flourishing industry trajectory might encounter a hurdle in the face of recently imposed ship limitations. Taking effect October 22nd, an autumnal initiative will prohibit ships from utilizing Port Barcelona's northern docks. This move aims to curtail exhaust emissions within the downtown, channeling ship traffic to berths located further away. As the most polluted European city attributed to cruise shipping, Barcelona's decision is rooted in addressing the concerns. Maybe Barcelona needs to implement only LNG ships or something so you don't cut off so much to spite your face. All right, that brings us to the end of the news portion of the show. Let's hop over and see if anybody's in the chat this morning giving me a hard time. Kenneth is with us. Hi, Kenneth. Joanne is here. Good morning, Joanne. There's Melissa down in Phoenix. Hi, Melissa. Mike's with us. There's Dennis. Hi, Dennis. Idalia heading to Vidalia. Isn't that the truth? I don't know. My gut tells me this is going to turn out being a doozy. I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times before. Nikki's with us. Good morning to Chillie and the gang. We've begun to batten down the hatches in anticipation of Vidalia's visit. The Suns have secured their boat in St. Augustine and will stay by us. You guys just stay safe. Delicious prime rib and not overdone. Yeah, Princess and also Royal, both do prime rib extremely well, I think. That's why I order it anytime it's on the menu, because it's always good. Not so on some of the other cruise lines. It's okay. You can't get bad prime rib. But this Princess and Royal seem to do it better than anybody else. This is my opinion. Cindy's with us. Hi, Cindy. Dennis says the KSAT hurricane tracker shows the cone. Yeah, I have a direct line with the National Hurricane Service, and I get all that kinds of stuff, and it's just short news broadcast, where you don't really get into in-depth kind of stories is a little difficult. Also, I'd love to be able to get more clips and stuff of what's going on real time. But again, that doesn't necessarily translate into doing shows on the fly like I do. Gretchen's here out in Ohio, says good luck to Nikki. Of course, we all want everybody to stay safe on that. Busy charging up all the chargeables. Don't blame me on that. There's Dennis. La Bocalia. Bocalia. Okay, La Bocalia. Come on, tongue. La Bocalia. Thanks, Dennis. Cook no more than medium rare or go to McDonald's. Yeah, I completely agree. So, okay, Nate's trying to call me, so I'm going to put an end to this, folks, and try to call Nate back. So, there's Michael Gale. Let me say good morning to Michael. Thanks, guys, for being here. Again, there will not be a live show tomorrow. There will be a show which will go on at 11 o'clock. So Just keep that in mind because I'll be transferring around tomorrow. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. You guys have a fantastic day, and I won't see you tomorrow, but I'll see you from on board Sapphire Princess on Thursday. All right. Have a fabulous day, everybody. See you soon.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.